Welcome to English and Emotions, where love meets language.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, articles, research, maybe even just notes you've gathered, and we really dig in to find the core insights. Today, we're tackling a pretty huge topic, online dating. And when I say huge, I mean the scale is just massive. Think about this. Over 366 million users back in 2022. And the market, it's expected to hit like $3.01 billion by the end of this year. So for anyone new to this or maybe just trying to, get better at it, this whole digital world can feel like learning a completely new language, right? Mm-hmm. With its own weird jargon and unspoken rules. Consider this deep dive your shortcut to understanding that language. Our mission today to help turn you into a confident digital dater. We'll follow the journey of a fictional first-timer, let's call him Alex, and break down the essentials, from crafting that profile to actually starting a conversation that doesn't just, die.
Exactly. And that's such a key point. It's not just about, grabbing an app and tapping away. It's really about getting the hang of a whole new way of interacting socially, understanding the subtle stuff. What's really vital here is getting that knowledge quickly, but also thoroughly. That's the key to actually navigating this whole thing successfully. And, what's really interesting, especially for maybe some of our listeners learning English, is how these apps offer this kind of unique, pretty low pressure space to practice conversation skills.
Okay, so let's unpack that. First things first for anyone jumping in, like our guy Alex.
Yeah.
Creating the profile. This is basically your digital first impression, your virtual handshake. And getting it right is, absolutely crucial. But what actually goes into making that first impression, work?
It's fascinating, actually, how much thought needs to go into things that seem pretty simple on the surface. Your profile isn't just info, it's like your digital storefront. It's the very first thing people see. Mm-hmm. So we really need to focus on two main things, the pictures you pick and the bio you write. The real insight here is that being authentic but also strategic helps build that trust and curiosity. To stand out.
Right. Let's start with the photos then. We all know pictures matter, especially when someone's making that split-second swipe decision. So what are the best practices? How do you pick images that really show who you are and, grab attention?
The photos are absolutely the first thing anyone sees. Often they decide if someone even reads your bio. So rule 1, use recent pictures, clear shots of your face. Try to avoid sunglasses or hats covering you up too much. Alice, for instance, he started with just a random selfie, right? Didn't get much traction. He learned pretty quickly that having a friendly, approachable headshot as the main pick makes a big difference.
Okay.
And he added a full-length photo, too, just to give a better sense of, his overall vibe. And here's a really crucial tip. Include what we could call an icebreaker photo.
An icebreaker photo?
Yeah, like Alex used one of him hiking with his dog. It's not just a picture of an activity. It's a personality hint. It's a natural conversation starter. It just makes it easier for someone to send that first message because you've given them something specific,
Yeah.
A hook.
Ah, that makes total sense. So it's not just about looking good. It's about giving people conversational ammo right from the start.
Clever. Okay, so the pictures are set. They're intriguing. How do you translate that personality into the bio section? How do you make that shine?
Right. The bio is where you add that depth. Flesh out the visual impression. Best bet. Keep it brief, but interesting. Alex, initially, he thought about just listing adjectives. Adventurous, honest, kind, whatever.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Exactly. But he realized, and this is key, just listing traits feels kind of generic. It doesn't really pop. Which brings up a good question for anyone making a profile. Is just listing adjectives enough to show who you are and stand out?
Probably not, huh? We talk a lot about show, don't tell in other contexts. I guess that applies here too, maybe even more so.
Precisely.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. Instead of just listing adventurous, which, let's be honest, a lot of people say, it's way more effective to show it.
Sure.
Give a little example. So instead of adventurous, maybe write something like, always looking for a new trail to hike and kind of hoping to find someone for my next spontaneous weekend trip.
Ah, okay. Yeah, that paints a much clearer picture.
Right. It feels more engaging, more memorable. It gives a real glimpse into your life, not just a list of words. The deeper insight really is that using specific sort of evocative language makes you seem more authentic, more relatable. It invites genuine interest.
Okay, so Alex has got this killer profile now. It looks good. It sounds like him. Now he's ready to actually, use the app. But before diving into messaging, he needs to get the lingo down. This is where it gets really interesting. The actual mechanics.
Yeah, and mastering this vocabulary is like fundamental if you don't want to feel totally lost or overwhelmed. The actions themselves might seem simple, swipe left, swipe right, but understanding what they mean and how they fit together, that's key.
Okay, let's break down the basics Alex learned. First up, the classic swipe.
Swipe. Yeah, that's the main verb on so many of these apps, isn't it? Almost second nature now. See a profile, quick decision, swipe right if you're interested, swipe left if you're not. It's designed to be fast, intuitive, almost like a game. A quick way to signal that initial yes or no. High volume, low commitment at that stage.
And then, fingers crossed, you get the notification everyone's hoping for,
Yeah.
a match. That little ping can really change your day.
Absolutely, a match. That happens when two people both swipe right on each other. And it's more than just a notification. It's like, okay, mutual interest confirmed, game on. Crucially, that's the point when the app actually lets you start talking to each other. It's the green light, moving from just looking to potentially connecting. Some apps use a like button, maybe a heart icon instead of a swipe, but the principle's the same. Mutual interest opens the door.
Right. Now, I've also heard about super likes. That sounds intense, like a regular like, but amplified. Is it a good idea, or does it risk coming off as, a bit too keen right away?
That's a really good question. A super like is exactly that, a way to signal you're very interested. More than just a casual swipe. It usually makes your profile stand out to the other person somehow, maybe highlights it, gives you a better shot at being noticed. It's definitely an elevated signal.
But could it backfire?
Well, potentially. For some people, yeah, it might feel a little intense, maybe even desperate if used too much. But for others, in a sea of endless, maybe passive swipes, it can actually be a really clear sign of genuine interest. It kind of cuts through the noise. So the insight there is, yeah, it's a calculated risk, but probably worth it if you see someone you're genuinely excited about and want to make sure they see you.
Okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
So you've done the swiping, maybe even a super like, and boom, you've got a new match. Fantastic. But this is often where people get stuck, isn't it?
Right.
Starting the actual conversation. What's the secret sauce here? How do you go from match to, well, an actual chat that might lead somewhere? Because we all know, hi just doesn't cut it. It usually just fizzles.
Oh, absolutely. That single word hi or hey is probably the number one conversation killer on dating apps. It's just so low effort. It's like walking up to someone interesting at a party and just staring. It doesn't invite anything back.
Right.
So yeah, this raises that crucial question. How do you bridge that gap from mutual match to actual engagement? The goal of that first message is really twofold. Stand out from all the other highs and make it easy and appealing for them to reply. There are definitely some effective ways to do that.
Okay, lay them on us. Give us some examples. What makes that first message compelling? And maybe what are the big mistakes to avoid besides just hi?
Well, one of the best strategies is to mention something specific from their profile. Straight away, it shows you actually looked. You didn't just swipe on the first photo. So Alex gets a match. Instead of hi, he could say, hey, saw your profile, love the pic from Machu Picchu. Was that recent?
Oh, okay, specific.
Or if they mentioned a hobby, like I saw you love hiking, got a favorite trail near the city you'd recommend, it's personalized. The big mistake besides hi is sending the exact same generic opener to everyone. People can often tell, and it just feels lazy. Personalization really is key.
Yeah, you can spot a copy-paste job a mile away. It makes it feel less genuine. Okay, so personalization is big. What else works?
Another really effective approach is asking an open-ended question. Something that needs more than a yes or no. It prompts a more detailed response, gets a real conversation going, hopefully. So Alex could ask something like, what's one thing you're really looking forward to this week? Or maybe, what does your perfect Sunday look like?
I like that. It invites them to share a bit more.
Exactly. It invites a little story, not just a data point. And sometimes just a bit of lighthearted humor can work well, too. Break the ice. Maybe something simple like, okay, challenge. Describe yourself using only 3 emojis. I'll start. It shows a bit of personality.
Okay, those are great practical tips. It sounds like the main thing is making it easy for them to reply and showing you actually paid attention. What about being upfront about what you're looking for? That feels tricky, but maybe important. Could save time.
Yeah, it can feel tricky, but actually being clear about your intentions is often a really good idea, especially if you're genuinely seeking something more serious. If you are looking for a potential long-term relationship, it's perfectly okay to say something like, hey, just wanted to be upfront. I'm hoping to find something that could potentially turn into a long-term thing.
Really? You can just say that?
Absolutely. It might feel a bit direct, but it saves everyone time and hassle if you're not aligned. It ensures you're on the same page or helps you figure out quickly if you're not. That kind of clarity actually fosters respect, I think. And it tends to attract people looking for the same thing.
That's a really interesting perspective. So much strategy involved. It's definitely more than just randomly swiping. It's like learning the rules of a new social scene.
Which actually brings us back to something we mentioned right at the start, stepping back a bit. For people learning English, these dating apps can be this unexpected, kind of amazing practice ground. It's a fun, relatively low-pressure way to work on casual conversational English, real-world application, you know?
That's such a brilliant point. An unexpected bonus. How does it help specifically, like beyond just chatting?
Well, think about it. You learn and use new descriptive words, adjectives to talk about yourself, about others, about interests, all in a very personal context. That expands your vocabulary naturally. Plus, you get tons of practice asking and answering questions. The back and forth is constant. And it's all in that informal, natural style, not like textbook exercises.
Oh, right.
It's a fantastic way to improve conversational fluency, get comfortable with the rhythm of chat, and hey, maybe make some connections at the same time. It's almost like language practice disguised as socializing.
So wrapping this up then, what does all this mean for you listening right now? Okay, the world of online dating, it might seem daunting at first, all these new terms, unspoken rules, but as we've seen following Alex's sort of journey, his trial and error, basically with a profile that genuinely reflects you and some simple, smart ways to start chatting, anyone can learn to navigate this confidently. You're basically ready now to swipe right on your own dating adventure.
Exactly. And remember, the knowledge is great, but it's most valuable when you actually understand it and then apply it. You've just got a really practical framework now for tackling this huge digital platform, understanding the how, but also some of the why behind what works. Which maybe raises one final question for you to think about, until our next deep dive. What specific skills or approaches we talked about today, things like crafting that first impression, showing, not telling, asking good, open-ended questions, might actually be surprisingly useful in other parts of your life. Think about networking, job interviews, maybe even just making new friends, online or off. Something to mull over.